So Resident Evil Death Island has been hitting theaters all over the world within the past few days and recently premiered in California as well. But somehow, someway I watched the movie, whether if it was in a theater or somewhere else, don't bother asking because I ain't saying how. But I did fully watch the movie, and in today's video, I will be dropping a non-spoiler review, and maybe when it does hit DVD and Blu-ray in about 2 weeks, I will drop an official spoiler in-depth review, almost break it as much as I possibly can down. But before we get into this, if you love Resident Evil, be sure to leave a like as it helps this video get into the algorithm and is very much appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well for more RE content in the near future. And now let's get into it. So when I was watching this movie, it went very fast. One of the few nitpicks I had about this movie is the fact that the runtime was 90 minutes. This was confirmed long ago, by the way, this isn't a spoiler. But with a roster or the amount of star characters that are in this movie, I think this should have been a little bit longer, as the pacing in this was again extremely quick. It doesn't necessarily kill the entirety of the film at all, but aside from that negative I have there isn't really anything else that I dislike. This is the perfect definition of fan service, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. As a matter of fact, I love stuff like that, especially that it took this long to get the main four, along with Rebecca, who also had a number title game, to get all together. It was just so awesome to witness, and ultimately I had a blast. The plot, in my opinion, may be the best one of all the CGI movies, and this movie could lead into mainline games down the road, and it all depends on if Capcom wants to connect this along with those games, because the potential is definitely there. But then again, this is a sequel to RE Vendetta. The only way I can see them all reunite again is if the situation is new, which it obviously will be, but we don't know what that will be. A lot of us want the BSA stuff that was going on at the end of RE Village, but there is no way to confirm that is going to happen, even with the rumors that surfaced a month ago. I'm pretty sure a vast majority of us want that plot to continue towards that direction, but we'll see what Capcom is cooking up very soon. As for each main protagonist in this 90-minute runtime, I think they balanced it out extremely well with how each character had a moment that stands out in this film, and something that the fans of those characters can appreciate for a very long time. As for the main villain of this movie named Dylan Blake, his story to me is actually the best of all the antagonists in the RE CGI movies. I know that isn't saying much because most of the antagonists are extremely forgettable, but this guy to me felt like he was suffering from bioterrorism just as long as the main cast did. In a screenshot that was officially posted by Capcom I think a month ago, Dylan was in the same unit as Hunk and was a part of what happened in Raccoon City. Now they weren't a part of the same team, but they were different units a part of that brand, and Dylan was on one of the other ones and Hunk was in pretty much the main one, I guess. And he had his own story and his own way of redemption, or honestly whatever he was plotting. Maria has her own story of redemption for what happened to her father, and this movie really helps connect with RE Vendetta, other than Leon, Chris, and Rebecca returning in this. The focus of this movie, and that we all know about, was the return of Jill Valentine after the events of RE5, and I thought this was a great way for her to showcase that she is back and ready to kick ass again. The trauma and the things that Wesker did to her was another thing that was also really nice to touch on, as she wants to make things right and blames herself for what happened, even though nobody isn't blaming her for that at all. But it gives a reason for her to be there, and she shows why she was there to begin with. I'm definitely going to go more in depth into that situation in the spoiler review. I think for the main approach for these is to never take them serious, because we know in terms of quality, they're not touching the games. The dialogue will not be as good as they are in the games as of today. But if you approach this to have fun and see your favorites team up, this is a great movie to watch if you're an RE fan. I approach this to have fun watching and not try to hate as much as I didn't like their most recent CGI adaptation, aside from Death Island, which was Infinite Darkness. But for some reason I knew this was going to be better than Infinite Darkness, and I truly do believe it was. And honestly, dare I say, it is my favorite CGI movie to date. The producer or director of this movie did say if it succeeds and doesn't flop, they are planning and thinking about bringing back RE characters that have not gotten the spotlight in a very long time, which involve the likes of Billy Cohen, Sheva Alomar, Ada Wong, and possibly others like Barry Burton. For those that are saying Ada has gotten enough, I just completely disagree. We haven't gotten anything involving her since Resident Evil 6 in terms of legit new content. And no, I'm not counting the remakes, because I'm sure you guys weren't for Jill, as I was doing the same for her, nor Leon and Claire. And even with the RE4 remake releasing a few months ago, I still want new content with Leon and Ada. But I am glad I did get some new Leon stuff in this movie, so I'll take that. But in totality, do I encourage you guys to check this movie out and see how it is for yourselves? Absolutely. They did some good things in this one, and I'm glad I watched it, and if I had the chance to watch it again before it releases on DVD and Blu-ray, I would do it in a heartbeat. This could be one of those guilty pleasure movies or even comfort movies that you can watch anytime and appreciate it, but by no means is this Oscar worthy or anything like that. But from RE CGI movie standards, this was amazing and my favorite of all the movies I watched, and I do hope Capcom or Katakawa Studios continues to make more movies in the near future. Each character had great moments and the antagonists were very good as well. I'm not going to get my final ranking as I'm waiting to do my spoiler review to do that and take a deep dive into the movie. But if you're a Jill Valentine or Leon Kennedy fan, you will enjoy this, and seeing those two team up for the very first time was long awaited and was great to see. Same with the Redfield siblings reuniting after Code Veronica on screen, and Rebecca by no means is this outcast of a character, because she did many good things as well and is treated a lot better in this movie rather than what happened to her in Vendetta. And the same goes for Claire as well after the butcher interfered that was in Infinite Darkness. But yeah, that's really it for me in my non-spoiler review. Around the end of the month I will drop the full spoiler review and let you guys know about my final rating and pretty much everything else that happened in this movie. If you found this video to be helpful and convincing enough for you to watch Death Island, feel free to drop a like and hit that sub button. It would be really appreciated. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, good night, and a good sleep, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.